Okay, I'm doing this video as an educational thing for those of us that are Ford guys that are looking for a diesel truck, especially one of these 6.4s, and some modifications you can do. I looked online and found some information, but it didn't really give you any sort of real world specs about sort of stuff. So as I'm sitting here and showing you the mileage on this truck, I just bought it. It's a 2008. As you can see, it's got 134,000 plus kilometers. I'm saying kilometers because this is in Canada. So my American brethren can calculate that into miles if you like. So yeah, I bought this truck. I got a great deal on it. So you can kind of see, I mean, it's used. It's got some dirt and stuff to it, and the body had a little bit of rust and everything on it. Runs absolutely amazing. What I have done to this truck, I've given it a K&N cold air intake. It has a dash DAC with a Spartan tune. I did a CAT and DPF delete on it. Total cost for doing the modifications, the upgrades, was about $2,500, and of course Canadian dollars. One, we kind of get ripped off up here when it comes to parts and so on and so forth. And two, I also had a shop do the majority of the work. I did the cold air intake myself, but a shop, did the exhaust work and did the install on the tuner and installed the tune. So anyway, I'll fire it up so you can kind of hear it. The cold air intake sounds a little suctiony, we'll say. It sounds like there's a bit of a tornado in the dash, which you quite possibly will hear. So, truck runs absolutely awesome. As you can see, it's showing 547 kilometers to empty. I filled it up the other day. I've been driving it a little bit since then. When I originally bought this truck, it was completely stock, and the day that I bought it, it was like bone dry empty. So I went and filled it up, and the range that it was telling me was 498 kilometers. Cost me $185 to fill it up that day. When I topped it up the other day, it still had a bit of fuel in it, so it cost me $155 to fill it up, but my range after installing the exhaust modifications in the tuner, 630 kilometers. So 130 kilometer added range. I'm pretty pleased with that, actually. It's these 6.4s are kind of thirsty, especially with the DPF and the regen that it does for cleaning out that filter. They're pretty not, let's say they're not economical. So as you could probably hear, she's running good. I don't know if you can hear that exhaust on the go there, but I'll shut it down and give you sort of a visual on the stuff that was done. Open out here. You see, it's dirty and it's got a few rock chips in it. Let's see here. There we go. So as you can see, it's a well-worn truck. It's got some mileage on it. So here's the K&N cold air intake on it. It's pretty noisy inside the cab now. That was a bit of a downfall with it, but lots of airflow, that's for sure. Biggest problem I've had since I've had the work done to it is that I've got a pretty heavy foot, and it's kind of hard to keep it in the legal range of things when it comes to driving it around. So I'll go back here. As you can see, I kept the stock tips. I'll take a look underneath here. Stock muffler. Flows pretty good, and it's relatively quiet. So, looking from the muffler forward, you can see that's a whole new pipe. Runs basically right up to the turbo. Of course, there's a bit of rust and everything on the frame under here, but flows amazing. I'll fire it back up, and I'm filming this with my iPhone, so sound is probably horrible. it there, the dash stack. Apologize for the low quality on the old video here. It's pretty quiet now, but under throttle it gets kind of noisy. Now it's got a 210 tune on it, so in theory, according to Ford and everybody else, that it's theoretically should be 560 horsepower crank, but this thing hasn't been dynoed. It's also probably lost some horsepower because it's a little older and has higher mileage. But it goes pretty good to me. Anyway, so hopefully this gives you some information as to the cost. One other problem that I've had, this truck when I bought it pretty much had new tires on it since I did this tune to it, and I have a heavy right foot. I've kind of burned the tires off a couple of times with this tune, and it has four-wheel cornering now, if you know what I mean. It's got rear wheel steering controlled by your right foot. So I would highly recommend the Spartan 210, one of these dash stacks, and doing that exhaust work if you have a 6.4 and you want to get better fuel economy and decent power. I've yet to tow with this thing, which is why I bought this truck. We'll see how that goes, but I love this truck. I've had 4 Fords now, 2 previous diesels. They were both 7.3s. I was afraid of the 6 liters because of the issues they had. And I was a little afraid of these because they were pretty thirsty, and then I found out what you can do with them. Some pretty basic stuff. This truck is an XLT. It's pretty basic, cloth interior, blah, blah, blah. I don't know if that matters to anybody or if they give a shit about that or not, but anyway, the 7.3s were amazing trucks. I loved them. And this truck I love even more. These 6.4s are incredible trucks. I love this thing. If I had the 70 grand it cost to buy the new 6.7 and get one loaded up the way I want, I would have probably done that, but considering how cheap I got this truck, it was worth every dime. Anyway, we'll see how this works out. Hopefully this informs you.